What you have here is somebody's building a model. Somebody is feeding that model a bunch of information, the training content, and then somebody is prompting the model to output something. So when you put that all together, what happens if I personally design a model, I then train that model on a very limited set of data, and then I generate the output. Let's say I design a model, give it all the Stephen King books, and then tell it to output a novel in the style of Stephen King, and then I put that for sale. It's not a Stephen King novel. I don't put it under his name necessarily, but is that a copyright infringement? And if you prompt it to generate a Stephen King novel from Stephen King supporting content, then you may end up with a derivative work, kind of inherently. So then the question is, what happens if you break that up? What happens if one person designs the model, a second person trains that model, and a third person then prompts it to output something? Is there still an infringement there? I would say probably yes, but who's responsible for it?
You've split the responsibility across multiple people, but is there an infringement? I mean, I guess that's the question. Though you've given a list of it's only Stephen King novels, and now you've produced something in the style of Stephen King. It's none of those novels, though.
Right.
So it's an original work at that point, but it's sort of derivative.
Similarly, if I tell it to create a movie out of one of those, that would certainly be derivative.
Okay. And is that infringing?
So most likely, as derivative work, that would be infringing. But the question then is, how far can you stretch the model, and in order to kind of prevent it from being infringing? So, for example, let's say I start in the same place and tell it to and feed this model that I've created and designed, feed it 40 Stephen King books, and then I tell it to output a novel based on those Stephen King books in the style of Danielle Steele, and see what the model comes out with. So I included an example of what happens when you do that in the handout, but that would seem to be more likely to be transformative, less likely to be a straight derivative work of the underlying works that it was fed.